Rules of this world. I titled this video Rules of This World. I thought it would be good to go over some of the unspoken rules the system of this world functions from. And when I say this world, I'm speaking of a large portion of the Earth's population who are not anchored or have knowledge of God and God's word, his authority, his essence, personality, character, his laws for life. And as a consequence of being disconnected from this information, you are almost forced into a lifestyle of relying on your own understanding, others' understanding, social influence, social desirability, trends, popularity, culture, cultural norms, human made systems and structures. Many of the Earth's population do not have an awareness or even a momentum or courage to explore in depth the nature of God and his role and influence in the human life. Therefore, they enjoy the pleasures of this world, eat, drink, be merry. You've heard the moniker enjoyment, entertainment, adventure, pleasures of having a family, lustful pleasures, things of that nature, and sensual pleasures, enjoyments that we have been granted that we did not ask for. And there comes a lack of appreciation. Number one rule is many people won't appreciate the services, the feedback, the efforts that you have invested into them, into their companies, into their lives. You'll find yourself interacting with majority of people who won't really reciprocate through appreciation, through sincerity, the efforts that you put out, which is why you see majority of the youth opting out of marriage, opting out of relationships, building families, people in and out of careers, in and out of jobs, people struggling with anchoring themselves in any career or job based off of this sort of system of a lack of appreciation of effort, low reciprocity. Why even try? So the rule of this world is to expect that many people won't appreciate sincerely what you do. And the opposite of appreciation becomes expectation and entitlement. You're kind of expected to do this. This is what, you're supposed to do. You hear things like that. And just be on the lookout for that. The spirit of just a lack of sort of like validation, acknowledgement. You'll notice you might even struggle with getting validation, getting acknowledgement, not even just for your emotions and your feelings, maybe even your thoughts, your perspectives, maybe your sacrifices. You see this a lot with the military. They go out, they risk their lives, they sacrifice their time and their energy to protect the country. They come back, they're homeless a lot of times, unless you're a part of the system of America or the hierarchy that affords you certain privileges, and you have certain resources and networks and things like that accumulated. It may work out for you. So this world is operated off of entitlement. You should be doing this, you should be doing that. This is what is expected of you. Why are you looking for a whole bunch of appreciation from me? And also, the world is oriented off of a culture of lies. Truth is almost like COVID-19 to a lot of people. You're going to speak your truth. What is truth? Truth is reality as it is. And there are many realities that exist that many people just would rather not acknowledge. And as a consequence of that, people would rather comfort themselves in lies. Majority of the world system is functioning off of lies. What is a lie? Anything but speaking to and acknowledging what is. So you'll see a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages, a lot of families, a lot of work relationships, a lot of communities, a lot of government, a lot of politics, a lot of laws. A lot of it is just driven off of lies. People avoiding taking accountability and responsibility to their roles and their acknowledgement of reality as it is. Doesn't have to be necessarily limited to the reality of prejudice, discrimination, racism. It can just be the reality of trauma, the realities of abuse, the realities of sexual abuse. You see this with the Epstein files. And this isn't the only case where you have a slew of people where the evidence is clear involved in, abusive acts towards minors. And instead of speaking to this reality, addressing this reality, oh, we're not going to hold anybody accountable. Oh, we're going to bypass this and we're going to kind of put the spotlight on other issues that are going on, just lie. And what is that? It's a lie. You're lying to yourself because you're not stepping and leaning into the truth where resolutions can happen, accountability can happen, justice has to be paired with truth. If you're not going to acknowledge what the fuck is going on, how are you going to solve it? So majority of the world is ran off of lies. People, I didn't realize when I was younger just how venomous the truth is to people in this world. It's like people lie to themselves. you know I know I'm not the most attractive person on the world. I'm not the most likable person on the world. More than likely, this channel probably won't go nowhere, and I'm okay with that. I can be truthful with myself. I'm not the most entertaining, personality. The most, you got to have a certain sort of like. And I'm not hating people who are win. Shit, if it ain't for me and you win, I want you to win. So I'm not mad. I'm not one of those type of people that's like, oh, I can't get it. Fuck it, the whole thing is trash. No, it's like if it's for you and it works for you, win. I want motherfuckers to win, especially if you're righteous. I just know for me, I can be salty. I served 2 combat deployments. I still got a lot of racial trauma. I got, sometimes some real cynical thoughts about certain things. I just feel like sometimes some shit just won't change. And a lot of people don't like being around that shit. So I get that. But I'm truthful enough to acknowledge and recognize that instead of inflating my ego and my sense of self with all these sort of like irrational ideas and expectations that more than likely I'm not going to live up to. I can kind of own where I'm at. So you don't see a lot of that in this world. It's more easier to lie to yourself. It's more easier to lie to others. It's more easier to lie to your employees. It's more easier to lie to your boss. It's more easier for the government to lie to the public. So the world, one of the rules of this world is sit with the lie, right? Benefit off the lie. Okay. If you get a lot of sort of like creature comforts and luxuries by not really leaning too much into too much truth. And this is why you see a lot of our history being erased in this country and in this world, and a lot of, textbooks getting burned and things like that, because a lot of these textbooks and histories, if you go further back pre-social media, were so raw and anchored in truth. There wasn't a lot of filtering. It just was what it was. And they don't want people to be exposed to that. The younger the generations become, the more ignorant they will be, because that momentum and that courage around discovering truth, around exploring truth and educating yourself to reality as it is just not there. And that's what the devil wants. He wants people to glamorize. He wants people to sort of extract pleasure and benefits and privileges out of lies. So that way you guys don't wake up to solutions. So one of the rules of this world is abide by the lie. Keep the truth to yourself. And a lot of times, even when you speak the truth, you're kind of gaslit. Oh, you're being negative. Oh, you're being mean. Oh, you're being prejudiced. Oh, you're being racist. It's like the world is sort of maturing to a state now where truth in a way comes with a lot of consequences socially. So don't be surprised for people who are righteous, who are sort of leaning into their spiritual maturity, spiritual development, wisdom, discernment, their Holy Spirit, righteousness, things of that nature. Don't be surprised that when you're speaking truth and you're leaning into the reality as it is, if you get pushed back, because there are people who have created systems and structures that benefit off of people remaining ignorant. You see this across all economics. I'm traveling to Florida here soon. What does a lot of people do when they travel? They need to get their airport plane tickets. They need to get a car rental. Car rentals, the prices are so damn ridiculous. You'd rather just get a Flintstone car and just beat your feet. And it's so and Uber is no better because it's just as expensive. However, a lot of these companies operate off of what you don't know. You have so many other options. I was looking at Turo. I was almost about to pay $1,400, guys, for a rental car, and Turo saved me damn near $1,000. The difference between that foolish decision was knowledge. Okay, I would have went ahead and got the car rental being ignorant. And the people at the customer service for the car rental ain't gonna tell me, hey man, by the way, you could go to Turo. So be prepared for people. What is a scam? A scam is just basically companies and people maximizing off of your ignorance, off of your lack of knowledge, off of your lack of research. If you have the knowledge, if you have the wisdom, you can't. It's hard to really be scammed from a space of knowledge and wisdom. However, expect a lot of that, right? People are expecting you to not know. People are expecting you to not be educated, to not be knowledgeable. So you're easier to scam. You're easy to manipulate. You see this in the housing market. People lie to themselves. Hey man, life is all about having a house, white picket fence, and having property, and that's what it's all about. And then now you have a market that's crashing because they didn't take into consideration the fees, the finances, the budget, all the other little hidden sort of cost that comes with owning a property, and now it's biting them in the ass. Houses are going into foreclosure. People are either holding on tight to their properties or people just don't want to deal with it at all. However, it all goes back to ignorance. Majority of the economy is infrastructured off of keeping you ignorant. That's how they make money. If everybody gets too knowledgeable and too skillful, what's going on? They're going to be cutting cost. Knowledge cuts cost. Knowledge cuts cost. When you know the right way to spend and invest, you're cutting cost all day. So if they can keep you in a space of not knowing, that makes them more money. People don't make money with you being aware and knowledgeable of what's going on. Knowledge cuts costs. Education cuts costs. The more educated you are, the more knowledgeable you've done your research, you tend to save money. I think there was some comedian that says stupid cost. Stupid decisions cost you money. Foolish decisions cost you money. They tend to be the more pricier, but knowledge can cut costs. Okay. So always try to keep yourself in a space of knowledge. The rule of the world, keep you ignorant. That's how you get the most money out of you. All right. I think some people were saying, like, why are they making a Michael 2? Because it makes money. Why not? If they can make a Michael Jackson 8, they will, because it's all about them making money, extracting money. So it's just how the system works. There's other rules, and a large portion of the world, like I said, don't know the Lord. They don't know God. A lot of people don't know who God is. Majority of people in this world, I believe, hate God. They're mad at God. They're mad at the situation. They hate their lives. They hate their families. They hate their mom. They hate their dad. They hate their neighborhood. They hate their community. They hate their race. I believe that. There's a lot. Hate. That's where I was going to close with. Hate is the rule of this world. Hate has become so normalized where you will almost think people are allergic to love. Hate is, has been kind of camouflaged as realism. When people are hating on you, they're kind of looking at, like, no, I'm just me being real. No, you're just being a fucking hater. All right. So hate has been so normalized. It has saturated so much of the minds and the psyche of the people. People will almost not rather be bothered with you because they don't know what space you're coming from. There's so much negativity. There's so much hatred out there. And hatred essentially is just sort of, enmity, envy, resentment, bitterness, almost destruction, sort of oriented towards others and self. It's an accumulation and a combination of things. I'll continue this video. Hope you guys have a blessed day.